Hello guys, welcome to the channel and welcome to another different top 10 today. Something completely different. I'm going to do a music video and I'm looking at my 10 awesome concert performances captured on film. Now, music lovers, before you go down the road and say, oh no, it's not, this is better, or I prefer this, and why isn't this in there? This is just my top 10, okay? It's not any excursion on your favorites and your favorite shows. It was just my personal favorite top 10 concerts that I own on film. And so it's been really hard because I own about, I'd say, between 50 and 60 concerts on sort of DVDs and Blu-rays, maybe even more, probably more, but it was really difficult. But these ones, when I was thinking about at work, I'm going to do a top 10 of my favourite sort of live concerts on film, and I just went run them off, and I thought, well, that's the 10 then, because that's what I love. But I did one I missed, didn't fit in, and I'm going to give it an honourable mention because it's really cool. It's called All One Tonight, recorded live at the Royal Albert Hall, and it's by Marillion. This was a Royal Albert Hall concert which was recommended to me, this Blu-ray, from a dear friend of mine, Rob, who's a huge Marillion fan, and he recommended this recording to me. So it's really cool. It's on a double Blu-ray. It comes with a booklet. It's just an awesome recording, and the sound quality on it is just impeccable. Really cool. It's a nice long set, as you can see. Now, Marillion, if you haven't followed them for years, yes, they used to have a singer called Fish who departed the band quite early into the band's history, and then he went solo, and I believe now he has retired from music, but I'm not sure. But then they were taken over with Steve Hogarth, or H, as he's known to the fans. He took over the vocals, and they released countless albums and did countless tours, and were absolutely a real fantastic melodic sort of prog rock. But they were really fantastic, really cool band, and they just really cool. And this is a great live performance of them at the Royal Albert Hall, and it's called All One Tonight. So that's an honourable mention. So let me twist these around because I've done them arse about face. Right, so number 10. Number 10 is one of my favourite artists. It's going to be in here. And some of these concerts are really important, and I love them because I went to, and this is one of them, from 1984, and it's Gary Numan's Cold Warning. This was from his Berserker tour. He sort of retired from touring in 81, and then he came back in 83 with the Warriors tour. Unfortunately, there's no live recordings of that, but he recorded his Berserker tour in 84 from the Hammersmith Odeon, the show that I was at. So it's fantastic to get this. He has it is available on Blu-ray and on, not Blu-ray, it is available on DVD and CD. On the CD is called White Noise, and it comes with like a little pamphlet in there. Really cool, and it is the whole complete show from that tour. So it's fantastic to sort of get that on memory, if you like. So really cool. So my number 10 is Gary Numan's Cold Warning. Now, number 9 is fantastic, and it's got a little bit of a quite a funny story behind it. It's another concert me and my friend went to. We went to see them, this band, at the I'm sure it was Hammersmith Odeon or Apollo, whatever it's called now. It might even be Shepherd's Bush Empire, I can't remember. But it's the Bonzo Dog Doodah Band and their 40th anniversary show. This was absolutely incredible. But here's the story. They did 2 nights in London. So me and my friend Rob again, we bought tickets for the show, and we went there. We were queuing up, and we come to us to get in the door, and the guy checked our tickets and said, "That's tomorrow night." We went on the wrong night. Oh man, it was so embarrassing. We didn't know what to do. We thought, "Oh, really? We don't really want to go home and sort of do it all again." And we spoke to a tout, and he was willing to take the 2 tickets off us with £10 uh, for tickets for that night. So we thought, okay, it will save us £10 fine, because you got to think train fares and stuff on top, you know. So we thought, okay, we're getting for tonight, and we did, and we had the bestest time. And the Bonzo Dog Doodah Band were fantastic. They had lots of special guests on there. They had Stephen Fry, Phil Jupitus, Ade Edmondson, and Paul Merton. As you can see, there were special guests on the show. This is fantastic. I'm leaving this out because I need to watch it. And do you know what? I'm even thinking about reviewing this on my channel, because it was such a cool concert and it was so different. Now, the Bonzo Dog Doodah Band, if you don't know who they are, they're a band formed by sort of comedian, sort of songwriter Neil Innes, and they had a big hit called "I Am the Urban Spaceman" back in the 60s. They sort of came out around the Beatles sort of time, the Beatles' latter years, when the Beatles were doing their sort of Sergeant Pepper and their more experimental stuff. We had the Bonzo Dog Doodah Band, and they sort of brought a eclectic music gathering together. They brought bits of skiffle, bits of sort of like Brit pop from that time, from the 60s, and also a bit of like 1920s Noel Coward style sort of jazz. It was absolutely fantastic band, really cool and really great fun live. Unfortunately, most of the band members, I think, have passed on since this show. I can't remember the year this was that me and my mate went to it, but wow, we had the best time, and it's fantastic. So number 9 is the Bonzo Dog Doodah Band's 40th anniversary concerts. Fantastic. Right, number 8 I wasn't at. I believe this was recorded in America, but it's a great live album, and it was a great live film. They released it as a film, and it was really cool. And it's the Talking Heads' Stop Making Sense. Again, this is a Second Sight release, would you believe it? Released by Second Sight. This contains the whole concert. I did also buy a box set of the album. They re-released and remastered the album of the whole show. Now, obviously, when the album came out, Stop Making Sense, it was a single album with probably about sort of 8 to 9 tracks on it. But then they released it as the whole album on CD, which I've got in a collector's edition box set. And so I had to pick up the movie as well on Blu-ray. Really cool, interesting, eccentric sort of American rock band. I don't know who I can sort of compare them to. I suppose if you put some forms of Genesis with forms of Violent Femmes, so it had sort of like alternative sort of music to even think bands like the Go-Betweens and stuff like that, the Australian band. If you mix a bundle of these sort of bands together with a tint and hint of world music in there, you've got the Talking Heads, and they've made some really cool albums. They were just one of a kind, a bit like sort of Tom Waits, you know, he's one of a kind. They are one of a kind too. There's no one really like them out there. But yeah, that is a great concert movie. Stop Making Sense by the Talking Heads is number 8. Number 7 is a show I went to at Hyde Park, and it's The Cure, and it's their 40th anniversary show. This is again a sort of limited box set they released of 2 shows. They did 2 shows. They did one at Hyde Park and they did one at the Royal Albert Hall, and this set contains both of them. Sadly, I couldn't get to the the Royal Albert Hall show, simply because it sold out too quick. So I didn't get a chance to get to it. But I did get to the Hyde Park, and it wasn't cheap. It was about 50 odd pound. But since then, Robert Smith has sort of taken control of the band's performances, and now if you go and see them, their ticket prices are still quite low. They're still like 40 to 50 pounds, which in this day and age, believe me, is quite low to see such a big popular band. And this was a great show. It's quite similar to the set they did at Glastonbury. They did I think a show, it might even been the same year, in celebration of their 40th year, or it might have been the year that they re-released one of their sort of classic albums. But it was a fantastic show, and it was really cool. Yes, they don't, they've aged, but the music's still pure. It's still there, and Robert's still got a great voice. Most of the time, I have seen a few performances of him, and his voice has been a bit, but he's in his 60s, so what do you expect, But that was a great event, the Cure at Hyde Park, their 40th tour. I believe this is called Curation, 25-year anniversary, 40 live. So I'm not sure what it's actually celebrating in a way, because it says 25 years on there, but I'm sure it was 40 years. They've been going since the sort of mid-70s, late 70s, so yeah, that would be a 40-year job. So anyway, really cool concert, and that was number 7, wasn't it? 10, 9, 8, 7, yeah. Number 6 is a concert that I would dreamed I wish I was at, but sadly wasn't. It was at the Royal Albert Hall, and it's called Concert for George. Now, this was in celebration of the work and life of George Harrison, who I think passed away maybe the year prior to this concert, when he became ill. And loads of stars came out to perform a tribute concert for him. Amongst the stars were Sir Paul McCartney, Sir Ringo Starr, Eric Clapton, Jeff Lynne, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Joe Brown, Billy Preston, among an array of stars that came to perform at the show. And this is on a 2-disc DVD. The first disc contains, I believe, the performance by Ravi Shankar, who was like the support act. Ravi Shankar is a sitar player that George Harrison used to use loads in his albums and his solo career, and I'm sure the Beatles used him as well on a number of occasions. But this was a tribute concert to him. Really, really cool show, and it's fantastic to own this on DVD. Shame it's not on Blu-ray, but I've only got it on DVD. I don't think it's had a Blu-ray release. But what an amazing show to attribute to an amazing genius songwriter. He was my favourite Beatle out of the Beatles. I just preferred his songwriting. He made some beautiful songs that I just loved with the Beatles. Here Comes the Sun, Something, and all these amazing songs that he wrote. And this includes the entire concert on DVD. So that's really cool. So that's number 6. So we're down to my top 5. Number 5 is a concert that I was at. It was a fantastic concert, a sitting down concert, would you believe? Which I don't go to many. I wish I did, but I like the sitting down concerts. But this was at the London Palladium, and it was a number of years ago now. It must have been sort of early 2000s, I'm not sure. But it's the Divine Comedy live at the Palladium. This was taken part on their Absent Friends tour, which I believe is their masterpiece. Everybody's got their Sgt. Pepper album, And to me, Absent Friends is the masterpiece for the Divine Comedy, and they released it on DVD. Fantastic, but such a shame they just never released it on CD. Would love to have a CD version of this concert, because sometimes it's not possible to sit and watch a concert, you know. But when you got a CD, when you're in bed, or if you want to relax sometimes, or sometimes if you're doing something like having a bath or whatever, you can pop a CD on and really enjoy it. And it brings back so many memories, because when I see it, I see the band's reflection of that show. But when I listen to the CD, like the Gary Newman one, I have my own visions in my head when I was upstairs on a balcony watching it. So that's why I like sometimes the CD of a concert, because it brings back my memories. This is the band's memories, which is fantastic, because they do combine, and it's absolutely amazing. So number 5 is the Divine Comedy live at the Palladium. Number 4 is an awesome concert, but unfortunately I wasn't there. I have seen the band though once. I saw them playing at Nebworth Park. But I'm not sure if it was around the same time. I think it was, because one of the key members was no longer with them. But this is Pink Floyd's Pulse. So I saw them perform at Nebworth. I went there with my mum and her friend, and it was fantastic. I think it was the same sort of time that Pulse was released. I think Pulse might have been a little bit earlier. But they went out to play again, unfortunately without Roger Waters. They just had David Gilmour, Nick Mason and Richard Wright from the normal lineup. But they did have loads of sort of like session musicians and session backing vocals like Sam Brown and that at the show. But it's a fantastic DVD. This is now available remastered on Blu-ray. And they've just recently re-released the Live in Pompeii show, what they did in the Pompeii sort of outdoor auditorium. But unfortunately, I've got it on old DVD, and I'm not really buying stuff unless I really have to. So, but this was 1994, and I believe it was recorded at Earl's Court in London, which is a fucking horrible venue, really horrible. I mean, it works for these because they're massive, but I went to see the Foo Fighters there and they sounded terrible, really poor. But it's not that the Foo Fighters are poor, just that sounded poor. So yeah, that was an amazing concert. So it has got a Blu-ray release and a remastered DVD, and I don't know if it's had a remastered album release. I don't think so. I just think the film has been re-released, remastered. So, number 4 is Pink Floyd live at Earl's Court 1994 in Pulse. Really cool. So we're down to the top 3. This next one I wasn't at, but I have seen the artist. I've seen this artist 3 times. Not many, I know, but it's just the way it is. I've seen them at Wembley Stadium. I've seen them at Milton Keynes twice, but unfortunately I didn't go to this one. But this is David Bowie live at Glastonbury in the year 2000. One of his later sort of performances before we lost David Bowie. And I picked this up. I was going to put in Ziggy Stardust, a motion picture, but I wanted to pick something up because of this sort of it's a career spanning set, and it's a fantastic watch. This set contains the concert, and it also contains a double CD set. So yeah, amazing show. I saw it on TV because I think BBC4 was showing it live at the time when it was actually performed. So we have the concert on disc in there. So that's from the disc, and David grown his hair there, which was quite strange. So he's almost like gone back to his look from the Man Who Sold the World, with that sort of long hair. And it's also got a double CD in there, so that's really, really cool. And it comes with a booklet as well. Really cool show. Wasn't overly too long. You know, some concerts, like I've seen some, like I own a Hyde Park concert of Bruce Springsteen, but it does go on a bit, and it's just like, oh, it's just a little bit too long. I think sometimes a concert you can outstay your welcome. Sometimes I think less is more sometimes, but this was fantastic, and to be honest, I would have liked it to have gone on more, but unfortunately it didn't. Anyway, number 3, David Bowie, live at Glastonbury in 2000. Fantastic. Number 2, also I wasn't at. It was performed in Europe, at the Montreux Jazz Festival, and this is Talk Talk, live at Montreux. Again, another fantastic band and fantastic live concert with the late great Mr. Ellis himself, Mark Ellis. Absolutely fantastic. This is again only on DVD. Live at Montreux, that a lot of them that they've done as a set with CD and live DVD, but unfortunately this one hasn't. It's just again only on DVD, and it's a really cool set. Really cool show. Back from 1986, is it? 1986, I believe. You can read that more than I can. Yeah, really cool show. This was probably 3/4 through the band's career. This is before they released Laughing Stock and albums like that. I think maybe Colour of Spring might have been the album that was this tour was done on. But yeah, before they released Spirit of Eden, and because I don't think I can see any songs in there from Spirit of Eden, no. So it's all songs from the sort of first 3 kind of albums, but it's a really good performance. Really, really cool. And the band's massive. There's so many of them. They've got percussionists, 2 or 3 keyboard players, they've got bass player, they've got a couple of guitarists, they've got a saxophone, they've got a drummer, and they've got Mark and vocals. Fantastic. It's an amazing concert. Highly recommend picking that up if you haven't. Talk Talk are one of the most underrated bands that the UK have ever produced, and they're incredible. They write some incredible emotional songs, some great rock songs, some great prog rock songs, some great experimental avant-garde sort of songs, and some great pop songs. So yeah, Talk Talk, definitely worth checking it out. It's number 2. So number 1 is a concert I was at, and you probably know what I'm going to put down there. It's been in this top 10 already, but this was a real sort of like emotional charged concert for me back in 1981, and it's Gary Numan's Micro Music. So this is Gary Numan's farewell concert at Wembley Arena in 1981. Gary hit the fame so quick, too quick, and he got a lot of bad press from the press because they just didn't like him, because he hit fame and he sort of did it on his own really well with the backing of his record company Beggars Banquet. He became very popular very, very quick. He had 2 #1 singles, 2 #1 albums in the same year, and it absolutely fantastic. And then it just got too much, and Gary just wanted to take a step back. I've watched interviews of him, and he says he wished he kind of never done this as a farewell tour. He wished he kind of just done it as like a last few shows for a while, because he did return a couple of years later on the Warriors tour. But this is a fantastic show. It's an amazing, full-on, massive light show where Gary covering his career span from his debut Tube Boy Army album, songs like My Shadow in Vain and things, right through to the album that came out just after this called Dance. He did a couple of tracks on there from that. He does She's Got Claws and Cry, the Clock Says. And of course it does his singles, I Die, You Die, We Are Glass, Cars, you know, everything that you want on it, Down in the Park, Our Friends Electric. It's all on the show. It's an amazing show. It's an amazing set. This lasted just over 2 hours, I believe. And this was released exclusive on Gary Numan's website, and it's the whole Wembley show. Sadly out of print now, but yeah, it's an amazing concert. Really cool. And there we go. That is 10 awesome concerts recorded on film. I love them all. Yeah, let me know what some of your favourites are down below, but you know, don't criticise my taste. That's just mine. So, you know, just like you got yours, but let me know some great concerts that I should be checking out.